welcome to Garden Style. So today I am going to show you guys how to dry out hydrangeas, and it's going to be a real short sweet video because really it's a easy process. So what I'm going to show you first is a vase full of hydrangeas that I dried out last year, believe it or not. Move everything over here so you can see them. But you notice they kind of have a tissue paper kind of feel to them, and they're not dropping their blooms at all. And there are so many different things you can do with hydrangeas once they are dried out. So I'm going to show you this process that I use in order to get them this way, and then I'll give you some ideas as to what you can do with them once they're all dried out. So to start with, I made sure all the shrubs were well hydrated this morning before I went and cut the flowers. And to start with, I'm going to show you two kinds here. So this is a fresh hydrangea flower, which is just starting to show a tinge of it drying out. Where this one, you can see, is a completely different color. And it started its demise, so to speak, probably about a week ago, the difference between the two. However, I like to get them when they are starting to show their demise. When they're still fresh like this, I like to leave them on the shrub so I can enjoy them just a little bit longer. But once they start to show their demise and they start to fade in color, as you can see the difference between these two, this is the time to start cutting them. So what I did was I went and cut several here that are different colors. So here I have the pink and white, or a light green, now that it's starting to go. And of course the blue. And these actually used to be white, and now they're starting to fade and they're kind of like a light green. So as you can see, you can start to get different colors. And then another one that I cut was actually a really light pink, and as they start to fade, they actually get a little bit darker. And these are the ones I was really after this year because I didn't have this color yet. So once you've got them all cut, and I try to cut them so they have at least a couple sets of leaves on their stems, so their stems are a little bit longer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shed all the leaves off. Just like that. And I've cut them, when I originally cut them, I cut them at an angle, and that way they can soak up more water. So what I'm going to do is cut them again, being that end hardened off a little bit, and I'm going to cut them on an angle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them in a vase of water, and there's maybe an inch of water in the bottom of this vase. And I'm going to start setting them in there once I get all the leaves shed off. Important to get all those leaves off, or else they start sucking up the moisture as well out of the vase. Won't take long at all. Start filling it up. Cut that end off. I just can't believe we are towards the end of August and getting towards that time of the year where it's time to start harvesting and cutting a lot of our flowers. Seems like we work and work and work all season long to get everything beautiful and pretty, and then all of a sudden August starts sneaking up on you. And here in a few days it's going to be September, which I really cannot believe it's coming already. It just went by so quickly. A super easy process here. No rhyme or reason. I'm just putting them in there. I just want to make sure they're so fluffy. I'm going to have to push them down in there and make sure all their stems are at least touching the whole inch of water that I have down there at the bottom. Push them down in there. Don't be afraid. All their stems in. Now the idea behind the inch of water is what they're going to do is, of course, they're probably going to soak this up literally overnight, because I am cramming a lot of stems in here. And once you see the water has disappeared from the bottom of the vase, you're actually going to leave the flowers in there and just let them dry. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to turn them upside down. Once they have taken up the water, what it's going to do is they're naturally going to start drying out once they're out of the water. The idea is, see, one is not quite touching the bottom here. There we go. Couldn't figure out which one it was. So now that I have them all in there, literally overnight, they're probably going to suck up every last inch of water that's left down here in the vase. And the idea is they're going to get one last hydration going up into their stems as well as their flowers. And then their ends are going to start to dry out, which in turn tells the rest of the flower to start to dry out as well. And you probably want to leave them that way until you feel like they're kind of crispy, like they sound like tissue paper, so to speak. And that could take up to 4, maybe 5 weeks, just depending on how dry your own climate or your own environment is. But once they're all dried out, they actually hold their color for the most part. They fade just a little bit, but these I've had in a window actually this past year, and they still manage to hold all their color. But the cool thing, once they're all dried out like this, got a few leaves that I left on there from last year. Once they are all dried out like this, there are so many uses you can do with these. You can actually cut the heads off themselves, and you can actually build wreaths out of these, or you can just leave them on their stems and create a beautiful bouquet, dried flower bouquet. You can also grab, there's a spray paint that they make that actually has little like glitter in it, and you can actually spray paint these so they have a little bit of glitter on the tops of them. And I've actually tucked these into a Christmas tree. Of course, I've made wreaths out of them. I have used them in candlescapes out on the dining room table. You can actually fill a bowl full of these once they're dried out, and create a little centerpiece from them. So many things you can do with them, and I'm going to get way more into detail on that here in the next month or so, once I have this fresh batch all dried out, so you can see how they turned out. And then I just have a wealth of ideas as to what you can do with these. But what a great way to repurpose and reuse some of the plants and the blooms that you already have out in your garden. Now, I've only done this with roses and hydrangeas, and I've had very good luck with this particular method as far as drying out your flowers. I haven't tried other ones, but I certainly encourage you guys to experiment a little bit and give it a try. And if you have success, if you have real good luck with another variety besides hydrangeas and roses, by all means let me know, because I'd be happy to share it with everybody else who is watching this video. But yeah, it's that time of the year. It's getting to a point where it's time to start thinking about what we're going to do with our flowers now that they're all starting to fade. But I do know roses and hydrangeas react to this particular method really well when it comes to drying them out, and it's so simple, it's just so easy. And that's what I'm about, easy and simple. Okay, in my next video I'm going to be having a Q&A type video. I've had a lot of questions come to me, which I'm just thrilled to have. And some of these were really good questions that I want to share with the rest of you in my next video. So by all means, take some time to tune in to the next one. That'll be coming out here real soon. And maybe there's some questions in there that I can answer for you, especially as we start going into fall. Some of these questions regarded some things that we need to do in the garden going into fall. And maybe you can glean some more information that way. All right, you guys. Hopefully this will inspire you to go out and do some experimentation with your own hydrangeas, or the neighbor's hydrangeas if you don't have any, and find another way to repurpose them and reuse them in the house. Okay, and of course if you have any questions or comments, there's lots of room in the description box down below, or you can get a hold of me at GardnStyleNwest.com, or get a hold of me in my email at GardnStyleNwest@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you folks may have. All right, get out there, cut some hydrangeas, and this time you don't necessarily have to get your hands dirty. It's a real clean project. All right, thank you for watching, and hope to talk to you next week. Bye for now.